Really proud of the team this weekend with the series against Stetson. Scored a lot of runs and a lot of hits. Well, I guess a lot of hits result in a lot of runs usually. So we showed a lot of power, but also the short game, and really proud overall. This third game of the series, just too many errors happened, and as a result, we fought back though, but we ran up short.
What were your takeaways from today's game as well as the rest of the games in this series against Stetson?
Well, the takeaway from today's game is that we need to continue to work and don't take things for granted. You have to continue to execute the basic fundamentals of the game on defense. The other thing is a takeaway was, wow, keep your eyes on the Lady Flames, because when we were down, I believe it was 1-5, and all of a sudden we come back and they get up, 7 runs, and we come back, and so we made it a 1-run ball game. We didn't quit, and that was really good. Also, the takeaway, both Emily Estroff came in strong, pitching-wise, really pleased with her performance, struck out quite a few hitters. The other is very pleased with how Carly Keeney came in, 3-0 count, and comes in and gets the hitter. So a lot of great things. I thought MC did really well on defense, made a little sliding catch on a potential hit, and another one she tracked down in center field. And what else? KK had an outstanding series, I felt, and really exposed her abilities this third game too, with her slapping to second base and beating those out. Cranium, which is Rachel Craney, she had an amazing series defensively and offensively. She did really well. What else? Huddy kept plugging away and getting the hits that she needed. Rachel Roopy was blasting the ball. Megan Fortner also with home runs and ripping it. And as you can tell, I could go on and on. It was really a great series. Today's loss, though, it's, a bitter taste, but it wakes us up to say, okay, these are things we need to work on. These are things we need to get better at. But one thing you can't complain of, we got a lot of fight, and I think we did light it up quite a few times. Go Flames.
Were there any moments from today's game specifically that stood out to you?
Yeah, today's game was it was shocking by some of the errors that we made, or really the mental errors, not knowing where to throw or holding onto the ball for a tag that could have been a third out, and that resulted in 2 runs, and we only lost by 1. So you can look at different things, but that's my role as the coach. My role is to say, okay, was our team ready? Did they play like they were excited and energized? Were they able to compete with the game on the line? Who was able to step up? Who was able to lead? What are things we need to work on to improve? And, as a coach and my coaching staff, that's what we do. We look at, is the lineup solid? What can we do better? How about pinch hitters? How about our runners? When you look at Lily Hindorn and you look at Madison Tuck coming in and running, and, we also had, Haley Dieter coming in to run, really a team effort. You look at Casey Machado, came in and got a pinch hit off the bench when she was there, and came in and played a few innings and looked really good. So there were a lot of bright spots, but, we've got a lot of work to do. And I think as a softball player, it never stops. You got to continue to work and get better and better.
How important were these games to the Lady Flames standing this season?
Yeah, I think they're really important because we are going to be playing Central Arkansas next weekend. We can control our own destiny, if you would say, on how we perform in that series, but every series is big. And what's big about it is making sure we're in the tournament. The other is the seeding in the tournament. If you're seeded 1 or 2, you play, your 3 wins from a victory. That would be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If not, if you're 3, 4 below, then you have a lot more games. So when you're playing in Stetson and Central Florida, it gets pretty hot. So it's definitely an advantage for the seeded 1 or 2.
What challenges did the team face today?
Well, the challenges today were an early game playing at 10 o'clock. So they were here at 7:45, so they got up very early. But it's not an excuse because Stetson drove 12 hours and, got in late Thursday night, Friday night, and played a doubleheader just like we did on Saturday, and they got up early as well. And now they're going to be driving back another 11, 12 hours. So, but that was a challenge. I think the other is, I think some of our players really need to self-reflect, right, and find out why they may not have gotten it done today or haven't been getting it done, and what they need to do to better it. Because the result is, it all comes down to the conference tournament and beyond.
What will the team be working on in order to improve over the season?
Well, we're going to be working on offensively pitch selection. I think that when you're frustrated as a hitter, you tend to open your zone way too much. So you're swinging at all these things you shouldn't. And when you're on target and you're feeling like awesome and you're in the zone, you are just, it's like the ball stops and says, hit me, right? It's being served on a silver platter. Your focus is right there at contact point. And you usually hit good pitches. So we're going to be working on that. But you can do it in practice all you want, but it really comes to executing it in a game. And that's why it's always great to play games. The other thing defensively, just more fundamental work, getting lower to the ground, glove out in front, throwing hand on top, eyes on, on the ball and feeling it before you start to fire it. But I think, backups as well. We had a miscue, not having our pitcher in the right position to back up a throw from the outfield. We had a throw today from our first baseman that was an errant throw to second, and we didn't really have the backup for the outfielder there that was needed. All these little things, again, I think communication with R2, runner on second base, between third and shortstop with slappers. So there's always a lot of things to work on, but that's why we coach, right, is to help them become the best they can be.
What should we expect to see from the Lady Flames for the remainder of the season?
Well, what you can expect from the Lady Flames is excitement. I think when you look at games, it's a never die attitude. It's one of those things, the game's not over until it's over. And I think you're going to be seeing, too, with us, that we continue to get better and better, because as the lineup gets more solidified and everyone gets, used to each other, I think that we still have a lot of work, but that's the fun part, is Coach once told me, once you think you know everything about the game, it's time to, hang up your cleats when you think that you can't get any better. So, but keep watching us. It's not how strong you start, it's how strong you finish, and hopefully we finish very strong.